God is black. Everybody knows God is white.
Everything the white man taught you, you accepted.
He taught you were a black heathen, and you believed him. He taught you to worship a blonde, blue-eyed Jesus with white skin, and you believed him. He taught you that black was a curse, and you believed that. Did you ever look up the word black in a dictionary?
For what?
Did you ever study anything that wasn't part of some con?
What the hell for, man?
Come with me. Black, destitute of light, devoid of color.
Shalom. Call law Yahweh Shemi Shai by Shem Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles, that great millstone that rule and teach well, that taught us this truth, the 100% truth. To the Akim on the four corners, teaching this truth, risking their lives each and every day on the highways and the byways. And to the brothers and sisters tuning in for edification, come with another lesson, and this lesson is entitled, "The Color Black is Not a Nationality." And I just played this clip, you know what I'm saying, with Malcolm X in it. And pretty much the gentleman that's sitting, actually is playing alongside Denzel Washington in this movie. He pretty much was breaking it down to him, you know what I'm saying, telling him that you can't believe whatever the so-called white man tell you, you know what I'm saying? Because biblically in the Bible, Esau and the other nations, which is the so-called white man, they are our enemies. But how they did, how they set up everything over time is they hid their identity, you know what I'm saying? So now everything is being revealed through the Spirit. So pretty much in this clip, he was telling them, you know what I'm saying, you can't believe what everything the so-called white man say, you know, because we're not black is not a nationality. In the Bible, we fit the curses. In Deuteronomy 28 and 15, the covenants were only given to the Israelites. We were, those are our forefathers, Moses and Aaron. You know, when Moses parted the Red Sea, that was our forefathers, you know what I'm saying? And the self-proclaimed so-called white man, he don't want you to know that. He want to keep everything hidden from you. So we are not, black is not a nationality. We are the 12 tribes of Israel. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's who we are. We're not no African Americans. You know what I'm saying? Afro-American, which it changed so much. But yeah, and before Malcolm X became Malcolm X, he was called someone else. I'll probably have to look that name up. And yeah, because he went by another name, you know what I'm saying? And the guy was explaining to him about the color black, you know, and white, you know what I'm saying? Basically just saying, you know, the color black was, you know, was a derogatory word. It was a bad word. And the word white was pure, you know what I'm saying? And that's how things are portrayed today, you know what I'm saying? Everything is upside down, you know? And the problem with our people is they will not give up, you know, that term black, man. They just won't get that up, you know what I'm saying? That's embedded in them. That's embedded in Jake, you know what I'm saying? You know? And the self-proclaimed so-called white man, which he named us, you know, African American, that's named after two so-called white people, you know what I'm saying? Leo Africanus and Miracle Vespucci. We are not two white men. We don't come from two so-called white men, and they're not white either. That was another term that they, you know, presented, you know what I'm saying, you know, throughout the face of the earth, you know what I'm saying, to push that narrative that they're so-called white. But there's no nationality so-called white either, or so-called black. The Most High, there's 18 nations in the Bible, you know what I'm saying, and we stem from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the 12 tribes of Israel. No, the so-called self-proclaimed so-called white people are not the people of the Bible. They want to try to portray that they are, but they're not. You know. And what our people fail to realize or understand is this is something to do with the curses, you know what I'm saying, in Deuteronomy. Like I was saying, in Deuteronomy 28, from first verse on down to 15th, if we were, like the Most High said, if you abide to what I tell you to do, paraphrasing, then he'll set us up high, you know, above all nations. But if we went against him from 15 on down to 68, then he'll put curses on us, you know what I'm saying? And those curses only fit one nation that's in the Bible, that's here today, you know what I'm saying? And that would be the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you know what I'm saying? Because that word black, that's a byword, you know what I'm saying? That's a proverb and byword. And let me get that. Deuteronomy 28. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment and a proverb and a byword among all nations, whether the Lord Yahweh shall lead thee. Yeah. So we should become a proverb, a byword among all nations. You know what I'm saying? And that is what we have been called. You know what I'm saying? We've been called bywords. You know what I'm saying? Black is a byword. African American is a byword. Afro-American, nigga is a byword, which means black. You know what I'm saying? Which they're already calling us that now anyway. Our people get so offensive when they call you a nigga. They're already calling you that. They're calling you that right now. That's what that word means, black. You know what I'm saying? And I can, you know, pull that up in the etymology, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm gonna do. Now let's look up that word black in the etymology. And it's a Latin word. Let's see if we can find that. Slocky. Oh, I seen it one time. Hold on, let me go to the top. Okay. Just trying to get straight to the point. Shit. There it is, the Latin. There it is right there. Black was used as a dark-skinned people in Old English of a coffee with nothing added, a test by 1796. The meaning fierce, terrible, wicked, you know what I'm saying, is from the late 14th. The figurative sense often comes from a notion of without light, moral or spiritual, Latin, niger. So that means niger. And we can go to the blue letter, which we'll go to Acts 13 and 1. Yeah, we'll pull it up there. In the blue letter, you know. Let's go to in there. And let's go to and you seen that niger that was in the etymology, and we'll play it.
Strong's G 3526. Niger.
So that's what that word means right there. It says right there, niger, nigger, black. So they already call us that today. So why is you getting all bent up out of shape? You know what I'm saying? They calling us that now. You know what I'm saying? They calling us a byword. Those are bywords, you know what I'm saying? We're not no bywords. We are the chosen people. We come from royalty. You know what I'm saying? We are the 12 tribes of Israel. We ain't no African American. We ain't no black. We ain't no, nigga. We ain't no porch monkey. And what they call the Northern Kingdom. They call them spick, wetback, moolies. So we ain't none of that. We come from royalty. You know what I'm saying? And you can ask any other nation where they came from, and they can tell you where they came from. Our people can't tell you. You know what I'm saying? They don't have a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like the self-proclaimed so-called white man, which is the devil the Bible speak of, the deceiver, Diablo. He can tell you where he come from. Oh, I came from, I'm Germany or Russia or Poland or Irish, But our people, man, they can't tell you where they come from. And they calling themselves black like out of a crayon box, man. Stop calling yourself that, man. You know what I'm saying? That's down degrading yourself, Even the so-called Africans, man. In the Bible, they're called the Hamites, you know what I'm saying? They know where they came from, and they don't even call themselves Africans, you know what I'm saying? So we are two different people, man. We two different people, the so-called Africans and the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and everything. Man, we actually the Southern Kingdom, the Negroes, we two different people. That's the Exodus 11:7, He put a difference between, and I'll get that real quick. Exodus chapter 11, verse 7, but against any of the children of Israel should not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that ye may know how that the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai do put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel. So we're not the same people. And that's what Esau has pushed out here. He pushed this narrative out here like we are African Americans, Africans, you know what I'm saying? But if you ask any of our people, they wouldn't even know. It's 50 or 51 continents in Africa. They wouldn't even be able to tell you where they came from Africa. So everything is just being pushed out. It's nothing but lies, nothing but confusion. You know what I'm saying? But we here to put the record straight. You know what I'm saying? We here to tear down them strongholds. That's what we here to do. And if you walk up to any of our people and tell them, oh, you are the Jew, you know what I'm saying? You are the real Jews. They'll look at you like you got 4 heads, you know what I'm saying? They'll give you that nasty look like, how dare you, you know what I'm saying? I'm a black man or I'm a black woman. I'm proud to be a black man, a black woman. But you calling yourself, some crayon out of crayon box, you know what I'm saying? And what the real smart ones make it seem like they so intelligent. I'm Asiatic, you know what I'm saying? But dumb as a box of rocks. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Even animals know, you know what I'm saying, who they are. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 1, verse 3. The ox know his owner, and the ass his master crib. But Israel don't know. My people don't not consider. Yeah. Because our people is, man, and these are two dumb animals, man. You can send them off from a long ways, man, and they'll find their way back home. You know what I'm saying? But our people, man, they refuse to receive this truth. And they refuse to understand that you're not black. You calling yourself a color, man. How can it only 2 nations, you know what I'm saying, out of all these other nations, and they saying you the only 2 that's black and white, but everybody else. But when you look at it, you got the so-called Ishmael and Elam, which is Ishmael will be the so-called Arabs, which is in the Bible, and Ishmael and Elam will be the so-called East Indians today. They just as dark as me. You know what I'm saying? So why they ain't called black? Because Esau know. He know what's up. Because we are the 2 main characters in the Bible. Jacob and Esau. So he hid his identity so people wouldn't know who he is. But we know who you are, Esau. You know what I'm saying? You know? And these animals here got common sense. You know what I'm saying? But our people don't got no common sense. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, it's like it. These animals don't. They dumb as a box of rocks. But they know who they are. And our people don't got common sense. That's what I meant to say, you know? And our don't. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because our people just, man, our people just been literally just beat down, man. You know what I'm saying? Beat down, you know. I ain't gonna say brainwash, brain polluted, because when you do brainwash, that means you wash everything and you got a clear mind. Our people don't got no clear mind. They just accept that. You know what I'm saying? Why would you accept calling yourself a color, man? You know, that don't make any sense, man. You know? That term black, man, you gotta stop calling yourself that. You got to, man. Because it don't sound right. And Esau knew what he was doing in these other nations, because they was taking what they was taking crafty counsel against us. Let me get that. Yeah, they was taking crafty counsel because they know Esau knew what he was doing. Chapter 83, and that started at 3. And they have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. Yeah. You know, so Esau knew, man, Esau knew what he was doing. You know what I'm saying? The tabernacles of Eden, which is so-called self-proclaimed so-called white man, and the Ishmaelites, which I just already said, the so-called Arabs today, of Moab, which is the Chinese, and the Hagarenes, which is the so-called Africans. You know what I'm saying? Gibor, I think that's the African, Ammon, which is the Japanese today, and the Small Hats, which is Amalek. You know what I'm saying? The chief house of the Small Hats. You know what I'm saying? You know, and the Philistines, which inhabited of Tyre. So the Philistines is the Hamites. You know, so Esau knew what he was doing. If you notice, all these nations, they go back to, you know, they have a nationality. You know what I'm saying? You know, we are the Special E knew what he was doing, and what he was doing is he wanted to hide his identity, and he did a good job. You know what I'm saying? He did a good job to this day, and that's why he came up with all these religions to confuse the masses. And now, when our people hear this truth, they go right over their head, you know what I'm saying? Because this truth ain't for everybody. It's only for the elect and the 1/3, you know what I'm saying? You know? Because now, you know what I'm saying, through the Spirit, the elect has been touched, you know what I'm saying? And that's because of the head apostles, you know what I'm saying? Through the Spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai, you know? And now we're claiming that we're Hebrew Israelites. We ain't claiming no black, you know what I'm saying? You can go on with that. We ain't no color out of no crayon box. And that's why we give all thanks and glory, call all Yahweh Shema Al Shai. You know what I'm saying? For waking us up and having mercy on us, because he could have easily wiped us out a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? You know? The Most High know every hair is on your head, paraphrasing. You know what I'm saying? So all we doing is hoping we can endure to the end, you know? You know? But we thank Yahweh Shema Al Shai for not destroying our minds. Now we're woke, you know what I'm saying? You know? But the rest of our people is destroyed. And they destroyed because they don't have the lack of they don't have the knowledge. And let me get that, Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee. That thou should be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy power, I will also forget thy children. Yeah. And our people have been destroyed, man. You know what I'm saying? Ever since the time we came over here in slavery. You know, and a good movie to watch is Roots, man. We've been man, we've been beaten down. We have had our, you know what I'm saying? We have had our heritage beat up out of us, you know what I'm saying? Raped and robbed and everything, you know what I'm saying? Gold and silver, took our land, took our heritage, you know what I'm saying? Who we are. So, you know, but now the knowledge is out there on the four corners of the earth. But what our people do? Reject this knowledge, you know what I'm saying? And that's why the Most High gonna reject you in those last days. He's gonna laugh at your calamity, you know? He gonna mock you, you know, in your fear. He gonna laugh. And the Akim gonna do the same thing too. They gonna drink them some yan, and they gonna laugh at y'all. You know what I'm saying? You know? Because now we're in a day of age where you got information where you can look it up. You know what I'm saying? Don't take it for our words. You know, like the head apostle say, don't take our word. You look it up. You know what I'm saying? You do the research for yourself. You know, but what our people do, they refuse to do that because they destroy it for the lack of knowledge. You know, and thou hast forgotten the law of thy power. I will also forget thy children. Yeah, and that's what Yahweh Shem Shai is doing. You know what I'm saying? We refuse to hearken to this truth and follow the law, statutes, and commandments, or be obedient to Yahweh Shem Shai. What we do, we don't have no problem. You know what I'm saying? Doing practicing Esau laws. We do that with no problem. You know what I'm saying? You know, but Jake, what he do? He rejects you know, Yahweh Shem Shai laws. But you know what? We gonna see, you know what I'm saying? But whatever Esau say do, our people follow without no problem, you know what I'm saying? Because you know why? They trust in their enemy. They don't even know who their enemy is. Let me get that. They don't know. They Sirach 12 and 10, you know what I'm saying? Never trust our enemy, you know? Sirach 12 and 10, never trust our enemy, for like as iron rust, so is his wickedness. So Esau hasn't changed. Man, Esau is the same people from the time of ancient times that we always have beef. But you know what I'm saying? Abel and Cain, he the same person. Esau and Jacob, he the same person, man. The Amalekites, when they was always, so ain't nothing changed, man. When they said race it, you know what I'm saying? They the same people, the same spirits, you know what I'm saying? You know? You know? And when he told that you are black, you're supposed to, you know what I'm saying? When Esau told us that we were black, you know what I'm saying? Like that skit I just played, you know what I'm saying? He was like, no, they said he was white. You know what I'm saying? Nah. Did you ever take the time to research it? He said, no, why? Why for what? You know what I'm saying? And that's how our people is today. You know what I'm saying? Our people don't take the time to do nothing. All they do is take the pastor's word, you know what I'm saying, or whatever these you know, evangelists be out on the corners, you know what I'm saying, with these loud mics, you know what I'm saying, ain't bringing no scriptures out. Where your Bible at? And they believe everything they say, you know what I'm saying? Well, God is all love. All you got to do is just believe. Man, get the hell out of here. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You ain't coming with no scriptures like Thessalonians 5 and 21 say. Prove all things. You know what I'm saying? You ain't coming with nothing. You know? And the truth is out here. There's no excuse now. The truth is out here now. So you shouldn't be calling yourself black out of a crayon box. All you got to do is do the research and look stuff up. You know? Let me go to, I'm going to go a couple more scriptures and then I'm going to end on that. Let's go to, because since our people don't want to hearken to this truth and get right, 2/3 of our people they got to go. You know what I'm saying? Zechariah 13 and 8. And it should come to pass that in all the lands, like it said the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai, 2 parts therein should be cut off and die. But the third should be left therein, yeah. And I will bring the third part through the fire and will refine them as silver is refined, and I will try them as gold is tried. But they should call on my name, and I will hear them. And I will say, it is my people. And they shall say, the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai is my power. But in verse 8, it's talking about the 2/3 niggas. You know what I'm saying? Y'all gonna be destroyed because y'all hearken to Esau ways. Y'all trust y'all enemy, you know what I'm saying? Y'all went word for word like in the skit here Malcolm X said. No, Jesus is white man, you know what I'm saying? Why should I look it up? You know, but the brother said, no, you can't take everything for face value. You have to go and research and look it up. So since y'all want to do that, like Zechariah 13:8 says, hey, y'all going to be put to death, you know what I'm saying? And in verse 9, that's the elect and the 1/3, you know what I'm saying? They're going to be, we'll bring them through the third part, through the fire, and we'll refine them as silver is refined. Yeah, and that's the elect. And I will try them as gold as tried, and they should call on my name, yeah, because that's what we're doing now. We sighing and crying, call on Yahweh Shem Shai to come back and save us from this hell that we in. And I will hear them, yeah, and I will say, it is my people, yeah, my people, children of Israel, you know, the so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, the 12 tribes of Israel. And they should say, the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai is my power. Yeah, because we know who our power is. It ain't no sweet baby Jesus. No, no, no. It ain't these, we know who our power is, you know. So, yeah, if our people don't get right, they know what's coming, you know what I'm saying? And I'm going to end on this Baruch chapter 2, verse 30, because at the end of the day, the Most High already know how our people is, man. Stiff-necked, hard-headed. You know what I'm saying? For I knew that they would not hear me, because it's a stiff-necked people, but in the land of their captivity, they should remember themselves. Yeah, that's not the 2/3. That's the elect, and the 1/3 is going to remember. And I should know that I am the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai, their power, for I will give them a heart and ears to hear. Yeah, and that's what we're doing. Through the Spirit, we're hearing what's the truth now. You know what I'm saying? We're not going off of what Esau, you know what I'm saying? We doing the research, and we pushing this truth out to pull down them strongholds. You know what I'm saying? And they should praise me in the land of their captivity, yeah. And think upon my name, yeah. Because there's only one name, Yahweh Shem Shai. And that's who we are. We in the land, we in our captivity to this day. You know what I'm saying? And we're praising Yahweh Shem Shai. And return from their stiff-neck and from their wicked deeds, for they should remember the way of their fathers, was sin before the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai. And I spoke about that, during the time, Moses, our forefathers did, disobey pretty much in every captivity. That's why we kept going into, captivity from different, from the Egypt captivity to the Assyrian captivity to the Babylonian captivity to the Medes and Persian captivity to the Greeks captivity to the Romans captivity, and to this day now to the Americans. We present now, but now we hearkening to this truth, verse 33 again, and return from their stiff neck. Yeah, we have returned from our stiff neck, and for their wicked deeds. Yeah, for they should remember the ways of their fathers, which sinned before the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai. Now I will bring them again to the land which I promised with an oath unto their fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and they should be lords of it, and I will increase them, and they should not be diminished. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So that's what we hastening the day for, you know what I'm saying? To go back to our own homeland, which is Israel, you know what I'm saying? We the people, we ain't black, we ain't African American, so stop calling us that. You know what I'm saying? Verse 35, and I will make an everlasting covenant with them to be their God, their power, and they should be my people, and I will no more drive them, my people of Israel, out of the land that I have given them. Yes, the first and the second covenant. Jeremiah 31 and 31, and Hebrews 8 and 8. He made the covenant with us. He ain't make it with no other nation, you know what I'm saying? Joel 2 and 27. So we're hearkening to this truth, the elect in 1/3, and we not calling ourselves black. And there's no such thing as black as a nationality. And I want to leave at that right now, so y'all know, whoever listened to this video, we the people of the Bible, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And all we can say is, call Allah, Yahweh Shem Shai, come Yasharala. You know what I'm saying? Because we the people. You know what I'm saying? We ain't black. So get that out, take that out your mouth. And y'all not white. Take that out your mouth. Y'all the so-called, no, not so-called, y'all so-called white people, but y'all the Edomites of the Bible. So we know exactly who y'all are today. You know what I'm saying? So I want to leave on that note. I say, call Lord, Shalom, call Lord, Yahweh Shem Shai by Shem Rakakadash. I want to say double honors to the apostles at Great Millstone that rule and teach well, and to the Akims on the four corners of this earth teaching His truth, risking their lives each and every day. And to the brothers and sisters tuning in for edification. This is your brother Dawadah, come with another lesson. Shalom.